Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you. So today we're playing yet another one of the new decks. After spending a couple of selection packs, either playing one or sometimes none of the new decks, I'm actually really glad to be able to cover so many of them myself and build them all. I've been having a blast with all of these decks. I hope you've been having a good time watching them as well. But today we're going to be talking about one of the most fun of these decks. Fun, I use that as in like a more casual deck kind of a way, but one that a lot of people find really endearing as a result, myself included. That's going to be Goblin Bikers. So there's actually a lot of different ways that you can play this deck. And I would say that pure might not even be the best way, but I decided to start out with a pure build just to kind of get used to them as an engine before splashing them with other stuff like Phantom Knight and Punk. I've seen people in the Discord server, I think Super Dark Aqua had a replay with like Phantom Knight, Goblin Biker that was really cool. So yeah, just wanna learn the deck a little bit and check it out and see what we can do with it. And it's pretty easy to see how you could combine this with a lot of other engines, because really all you need in order to get your Goblin Biker play started is the ability to make a rank 3. That rank 3 is going to be the only UR of the archetype so far. There is a lot of I don't know about a lot, but there's a decent amount of future support coming too, which could potentially be UR. That's going to be the Goblin Biker Big Gabonga. I can't believe that's this card's name. I love it though. So we're playing 2 copies of this card, and this is going to end up being like the main centerpiece of the deck, right? When this card is Xyz summoned, you can add a Goblin monster from your deck to your hand. And an interesting disruption effect is that anytime a material is detached from any monster on the field, you can attach a monster on the field that you target to a material to this card, or as a material to this card. And then during the end phase, you can also attach Goblin monsters to this card as a material. You'll find pretty quickly playing this deck that having materials on your card is pretty important. I mean, that's typically true of Xyz monsters, but how many materials you can detach from those monsters is often going to, you know, kind of dictate how many plays you can make and what you can do and all that fun stuff, right? So this is definitely going to be not only the first rank 3 we go into pretty much every single time, but it'll stick around as part of our end board a lot of the time too. And here we just have a plethora of different rank 3 options that I consider to be among some of the best in the game. That being the Xyz Armor Torpedo for the Xyz Armor Package, especially because it only requires 1 dedicated main deck slot. I think it is quite good here. We also get to play Ashura King, which is not a new card, but it was reprinted in the latest pack, if I recall correctly. So, with Ashura King, it is basically just it's a monster negate and destroy, and all you have to do is detach it. So I like this quite a bit better than something like Gossip Shadow. This does require 3 level 3 monsters, but you'll see that's actually not very difficult to do in this deck. We're going to have at least one game, but I think actually multiple, where we summon a Ashura King on turn 1 in addition to other things. It's not like you're using your whole resources to just go into this, right? So we are also playing Cicada King as yet another monster negate option. This one can only negate on field effects, but only requires 2 level 3s instead of 3, so that's kind of the trade-off there, right? And then, yeah, for the rest of the extra here, we have F-Zero as an option. I haven't gone into this yet, but the Draco Future is here if you do want to go into it. If you want to make this, the problem, I don't know about problem, but the thing about it is that you kind of have to go all in on it, or in some optimal hands, you can maybe end on the Big Gabonga plus a Utopic Draco Future, but in order to make that, you're going to have to sacrifice stuff like Cicada King and Ashura King and your Xyz Armor Package, right? So I tend to think that's a little more worth it than the F-Zero, especially because we have a lot of other monster negates that we can have access to, right? So I don't know, I tend to prefer just having the Xyz monsters on the field. I am playing the full armored Black Ray Lancer as well, even though we're only playing the full armor Xyz, right? Now, normally, if you were going to play the rank 4 as well, it would be to add the spell card too, but I'm not playing that here. But the reason I'm playing the full armored Black Ray Lancer is that it is yet again an extra material to detach, which can often result in an extra body or a follow-up play. So that actually, I think it is actually quite important to play this card in your season armor package. I'll show you in the combo lines of the games coming up where we make use of having an extra material there, right? Wave King Caesar, or Wave High King Caesar, is a card that I have not summoned. The idea is that you can make this with 2 level 6 Fiends by using the continuous spell card Grand Bash, which will make 2 of your level 3s into 2 level 6s, but they do have to both be Fiends, so I don't even know if we can do it here because we only have the Mean Merciless, right? Wouldn't I have to be playing 2 copies of this, or... because it's 2 goblin monsters, right? So I don't even know if I can make this in this deck. I don't have it crafted. I think it is a UR, but you could play Lars, which is just 2 level 6 monsters, but I also really don't think you need a rank 6. To be honest, I'm probably just going to take this card out of the deck. Of all the Goblin Biker spell trap cards that I'm playing right now, this is the one that's definitely not come up at all. And yeah, I'm probably just going to end up dropping it. But the trap cards have both been very helpful. Of course, you want to play 3 Grand Entrance. That's a Rhoda. I can also special stuff. That's quite good. And then we're playing 1 of each Clatter Spluter, Boom Mock, and Mean Merciless, and then 3 Doug Charger, rather. But that's also, of course, in addition to Tour Guide and Terror Top, which are your main play starters. I'm also playing Small World. I didn't really touch on the main deck here yet. I'm playing Small World because this is a great way to get into those 1-card starters like Tour Guide and the Speedroid Terror Top, right? It's not hard at all to bridge stuff in this deck. You can often use like the Ash Blossom, for example, as a bridge. So, or you could even like go Valor or Ghost Ogre. Your level 3s all tend to have different stats. The Goblin Bikers all have 0 defense, but that said, you're not often going to be searching a Goblin Biker. It's usually going to be either Terror Top or Tour Guide. So you can actually often use one of these like extra Doug Chargers as your Small World bridge, right? So we got Rhoda to search the Doug Charger because although you don't always need it for plays, it's never bad to open. You know, you can normal it and grab a spell card or a trap card, or you could special this as an extender. It's pretty good in that regard. Let's see. For the rest of the extra deck here, I don't know, pretty typical stuff. IP, SP, York Caesar Armor Payoff, 1 Crazy Beast. This card's actually really, really good. I like it quite a bit. And yeah, let's go ahead and, I don't know. I feel like I just broke the whole list down card by card, right? Pretty much. The rest of the stuff here is pretty typical. For a hand trap suite, we have Valor, we have Max C, we have 2 Ghost Ogres, quite good in this meta. 3 Ash Blossom, we got the Nib, the 2 Imperm. I split between the Valor and Imperms because the Small World's right. I already pointed out all the specific spell and trap cards we're using. We are playing 1 Grand Pileup as well as 1 Grand Stampede. And then, yeah, we just have Rhoda to search out the Charger, like I said. Callbys and Crossouts, all that fun stuff. So, IP, SP, Zeus. Yep, that's pretty much the whole list right there. So let's go ahead and start looking at these duels. Alright, so our first opponent's going to be on Tenpai. Would you believe if I told you I played against a lot of Tenpai? This opponent is on the Rocket variant, though, which is pretty cool. It's a build that might actually even opt to go first if it wanted the coin flip, but I want the coin flip here, so I guess we'll never know. This hand is phenomenal. We got Terror Top and Tour Guide, and we have Doug Charger, so this is like the do whatever you want hand. And I wanted to start with this one to show you kind of the max potential of, you know, the Goblin Biker line, right? So this is how you always want to start whenever you're making your initial plays. For your first rank 3, it's pretty much always going to end up being the Big Gabonga. And normally I would just add the Doug Charger off the Big Gabonga, but because we opened it here, this is why we play 3, we get to add a different extender. I'm going to grab Boom Mock here. I can then normal summon the Tour Guide. This will let me get my Mean Merciless into rotation, which you definitely want to do. It's very, very good to have access to this card to put it in the graveyard because then it acts as an extra extender, right? Here I activated the effect because for a minute my brain was on yellow button turbo mode, clicking yes, yes. And yeah, there's no point to doing it here, but it doesn't really matter either. It's not like it's gonna screw up my plays here. So detach 1 from the Big Gabonga, summon the Doug Charger, and then add the Grand Entrance here. By the way, as you're detaching from the Big Gabonga, you're gonna get asked if you want to activate the effect. That is the effect to attach, and on your first turn, you're not gonna generally ever want to use that. Now, if you were going second and you were somehow making all these plays and uninterrupted while your opponent had monsters on the field, you could be activating this effect to attach your opponent's monsters to this card, because it reads, if material is detached from a monster on the field, except during the damage step, you can target one face-up monster on the field except this card, attach it to this card as material. So, that's a once per turn effect, because it does say only each effect can be used once per turn, but you can do that during the second turn if your opponent has monsters in play. So, I'm going to detach from the Ashura King. I detached the Mean Merciless to, like I said, get that in rotation. I can bring it back with the Clatter Splooter that I added and then specialed. Now going into the Xyz Armor Torpedo. Going to detach 2 materials from that in order to draw a card. Getting a call by there is never bad. Very glad my opponent did not have hand traps, so let me go off here. Now, as I touched on in the deck profile, I'm going to go into the rank 4 full armored Black Ray Lancer. That way I can detach from it to summon the Mean Merciless. And it is important to do this, or rather I should say, if you're not going to detach from your Xyz Armor line, then you should not summon the rank 4, because here's the thing, right? With Xyz Armor Fortress, we only have one card to add, and that's the full armored Xyz. So if this card has 2 materials, then you can only detach one of them to add 1 card. It'll have a material, and this card cannot be used as a material for an Xyz summon while it has a material. If you're ever wondering why your Xyz armor line is not working, this is probably the reason. It's the #1 way to get tripped up. Now, like I said, we're playing the rank 4 because we have so many ways to detach from it, but if by chance you don't make the rank 4. Go straight from 3 to 5. Alright, now we have enough leftover level 3s to go for the Cicada King. We need to set 3, and then we're going to use Big Gabunga to attach another Dug Charger during the end phase. So, this is not a normal turn 1 combo line, but like I said, we opened Terratop, we opened Tour Guide, we opened the Dug Charger, and our opponent didn't have hand traps. So, this is what I would call a pretty ideal turn 1 end board. We have the Big Gabunga Disruption. Whenever something gets detached, we can attach an opponent's monster. We have the Xyz Armor line, which can also attach our opponent's monsters to ours as material. Cicada King can negate an on-field monster effect. Ashura King can negate any monster effect and destroy the card. We also have the Goblin Micro Grand Stampede, which is yet another monster negate. And we have Call By. So we have 1, 2, 3 monster negates, as well as 2 monster attaching abilities here. That is quite powerful. 5 layers of disruption, or 5, not layers, jeez, but 5 points of disruption off this end board here. Opponent's going to summon the Pydra here. They don't activate the effect. I'm just going to go for the full armored Xyz to attach it right away. I have my toggle set to on. That way they are not able to use the Shundra. They can't special summon the Shundra, right? Because they're not going to have priority pass to them until after I've attached the Pydra as a material, and you can only special summon the Shundra if you have a Fire Dragon on the field. If they had moved to battle phase and gone Sangen Kenpai, I think is what the card is called. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. If they had done that and summoned like a Shundra, that also would have been fine. Again, we still have a million ways to negate, as well as the ability to attach with the Big Gabunga potentially. And then furthermore from there, like, yeah, if they had Sangen Summoning for the Genroku to special, to summon Fadra, that wouldn't have actually, the Pydra is attached, not in the graveyard, so that wouldn't have gotten anything. We can also just attach or negate it. Yeah, I don't really see a I don't see a realistic way for the Tenpai player to break us here. So yeah, that is a pretty good first duel if I do say so myself, but we definitely have some more cool turn 1 combo lines to take a look at. Let's go ahead and see the next one here. Alright, you guessed it, we got more Tenpai that we're playing against. We're going to be beating up on more Tenpai. Yeah, definitely not a surprise that we're seeing so much of it in the meta here. I actually have a video coming up, I think should be tomorrow, where I'm playing 4 Tenpai mirrors, so that'll be fun. Alright, we're taking the first turn. Going to start with the Mean Merciless because we opened that and Dug Charger here. So this could be a bit more of a tame turn 1. Definitely not open as crazy ridiculous as before, but even though this is a 2-card combo line, again, you can basically have achieved the same thing by just having opened either Speedroid, Terratop, or Tour Guide, or Small World with, I think, literally any monster in that deck can bridge you into the Terratop and Tour Guide. So our Grand Entrance got negated here, but we already have the Boom Mock, so that actually ends up not being that much of an issue here. You'll note I detached the Mean Merciless with the Boom Mock so that I can use Mean Merciless to detach the other material to summon itself. Now these two are going to go into Xyz Armor Torpedo, which is going to draw into the Grand Stampede. That's a fantastic draw to accompany the other Goblin Biker trap card, Grand Pileup, that's in my hand here. So again, going for that rank 4 here. This time I get to use the graveyard effect of the Grand Entrance here. This will let me detach from the rank 4 to go and grab the Doug Charger back to my hand for a follow-up play, which is not too shabby. So from there we have the Xyz Armor Fortress with only one material. That's the most important part. We can detach that one material to add full armored Xyz. Gonna set 3, attach the, should be the last one I haven't used yet. Yep, Clatter Splitter to the Big Gabunga. So now here they're going to Raigeki, and this immediately looks really, really bad, right? Because all of our monsters are going to get destroyed, and we need to be ranking these up in order to have disruption for the opponent's turn. But we can actually rank up to avoid our stuff getting destroyed here. I'm going to chain the Goblin Biker Grand Pileup to the Raigeki. This will let me overlay the rank 6 Goblin Crazy Beast on top of the Big Gabunga. Now, the Raigeki will resolve. However, Goblin Crazy Beast is much like Hugin from the Runic archetype, right? This second effect here, if a monster you control, and that S will be important, you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can detach one material from this card instead. This is what I often refer to as a destruction replacement effect. And what makes these types of effects unique is that they are not activated effects, they resolve on resolution. Now, normally you would not be able to get an effect in and interrupt a chain link, but here in this case we are able to do that due to the nature of how this effect works. And as the parentheses S implies, I can detach one material, and that will protect my Xyz Armor Fortress as well. So now they're going to summon Pydra. Here I'm going to go for the Grand Stampede. That's going to let me negate the Pydra. They're going to chain the Forbidden Droplet, which will let the Pydra resolve. A little bit annoying, but ultimately not the end of the world. We do still have both Ash Blossom and the ability to rank up with the Xyz Armor package. They're going to get the Songen Kaiman here. One thing I also want to note is the graveyard effect of the Grand Pileup, right? That is actually very relevant in a lot of matchups, including the Tenpai one, which says you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one Goblin Xyz monster you control, and one card in either graveyard, attach the targeted card from the graveyard to that monster on the field as material. You could, against Tenpai here, for example, attach either the level 7 or 10 Synchro to stop it from coming back from the graveyard, potentially. Alright, they're going to go for the Songen summoning here. I'm going to summon the Clatter Splitter right now, just while I can. This let me get back the Big Gabunga, which can potentially attach a monster as a material, if I'm able to detach here. I know they have Songen Kaiman, but I'm still going to try to Ash Blossom here, and that actually does end up being enough to get the Concede, which does kind of make sense if you think about it, because if they have Songen Kaiman, I believe one other unknown card in hand. If they try to go Songen Kaiman into Shundra, I really should have summoned that Goblin Biker Clatter Splitter in attack mode, actually, because it's got 1500 attack, and if they tried to crash with Shundra, that would have forced a draw, and then I guess they could have gone Fadra there, but it wouldn't have mattered either way, because I still had the Xyz Armor package. I could have ranked up into the rank 7 Xyz Armor, and then attached one of their monsters and been safe and not died. So there we go, beaten up on more Tenpai with the Goblin Bikers. We got one more game we're going to take a look at. Let's finish off with that one. And our final opponent is going to be on Stun. This is the first Stun opponent I've been matched against, I think, since the update started. This was like Upper Diamond into Master, too. So I was a little surprised about that. I really thought that Stun would be more popular with Tenpai being so popular, but I guess I've seen a lot of labs. And of course, as always ever, just because I experience one thing doesn't mean that's the truth for everyone. And that's true of everyone's individual experience as well. So, gonna lead with the Speedroid line here. And then I'm gonna eventually use this small world to go for tour guide stuff, but I think I should have done it sooner, or I don't know. I'm a little worried about playing into Nib here, which I'm 100% doing right now, but a lot of the time on Master Duel Ranked Ladder, I'm just kind of like, screw it. If they have Nib, they have it, right? Like, and then if they don't, I just get to completely pop off. But, no, if I was playing in a tournament, I would definitely make more of an effort to play around Nib. I'd probably not use the small world at all, and just play out my regular kind of combo line, and then either hang on to the Veiler as disruption on their turn, or use it at the end of the combo line after I've established them on. Or just use it after I've established the Asura King. I probably would have been able to without having to commit to it. Well, anyway. We're going to go for a pretty similar line to some of our other ones here, with the Big Gabonga, with the Exceeds Armor Fortress, Asura King, 3 face downs, Exceeds Armor Fortress, the Negate Continuous Trap card, and the Imperm. But, yeah, our opponent's actually rocking the Evenly in the Tenpai meta, which is kind of wild, of course, this card doing nothing against Tenpai. But we're not on Tenpai, we're on Goblin Biker, and Goblin Biker, although it can put up a lot of disruption, notably doesn't really have much protection against spell and trap cards. It's got a very similar weakness to the U-Bell deck, right? So, yeah, an Evenly is enough to wipe our board here. I'm going to keep the Asura King, but there's just really not a lot you can do in response to this card in this deck, unfortunately. They're going to summon their barrier statues, set 3, and then pass. Strong for turn, we get the Grand Entrance, but they're going to compulse. And I think a lot of you can relate with the fact that at this point... Oh, I thought I conceded here. Gonna summon the Doug Charger. Oh, this is right. Yeah, this is where I conceded. Yeah, they re-destruction the Doug Charger, and I was like, you know what? I just don't feel like playing this matchup anymore, so I just conceded. Alright, that's going to go ahead and do it for these games. Had a lot of fun playing this deck. Can't wait to try out some variants with it, like I was saying earlier. But thanks as always for watching. Let's go ahead and move now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Just want to give you a huge thanks for watching all the way to the very end of the video. Believe it or not, that is actually one of the best ways that you can support the channel, is by watching the videos in their entirety. But there are many ways in which you can support the channel if you are so interested. The names that you're seeing on screen here, I gotta give an extra special thanks to, because these are people who have chosen to either become a member on YouTube, which if you're interested you can do as well via the join button next to the subscribe button down there, or have signed up over on Patreon and become members there. Link to that is going to be in the description below. Without the support that is being offered by, again, all the people that you're seeing on screen right here, I would not be able to take the time to dedicate to uploading daily YouTube videos. So thank you so very much. But there are also other ways you can support as well. Again, link to the description below. If you like my deck tracker that you'll see in a lot of my videos, the Untapped Companion, you can download that for free, and if you use my affiliate link down there, then that also goes a long way towards supporting the channel. That's, again, free. So is subscribing here on YouTube. That's also free and a huge way to support. You can also check out Twitch, once again linked in the description below. Following and subscribing over there will not only support as well, but also give you notifications of when I go live if you want to catch some of the live streams. But really, no matter how you choose to support, it all adds up, and it all definitely means the world. So thank you, each and every one of you. For now, this is Hexlex. I'm going to be signing out. But more than that, I'm hoping that you have a fantastic day.